Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order the Columbia Heights Public Schools Independent School District 13 regular school board meeting of Tuesday, October 28th, 2014. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you call the roll, please?
Meyer.
Here.
Landwehr.
Here.
Larkin.
Here.
Bardell.
Here.
Palmer.
Here.
Lee. Here.
Thank you. Our mission statement, Columbia Heights Public Schools creates worlds of opportunity for every learner in partnership with supportive small-town communities by challenging all to discover their talents, unleash their potential, and develop tools for lifelong success. The core values in this district are community, excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. Next agenda item, we do have a Heights Lights tonight, and it's my pleasure we're honoring Louis Carchi for participating in the Princeton University Leadership Enterprise for Diverse America. I have a little bit of information I would like to share with everyone. For the second year in a row, a Columbia Heights High School student has attended the prestigious Princeton University Leadership Enterprise for Diverse America, the LEADA program. Louis Carchi, class of 2015, is one of only 60 students in the nation to be selected for the program that targets scholars who are high-achieving, low-income students from communities that are underrepresented at our nation's top colleges and universities and in the nation's leadership sectors. According to the program, Carchi was selected by LEADA in a national recruitment effort to identify talented low-income students who demonstrate leadership potential and who do not have access to support that will enable them to attend our nation's top colleges and universities. Held annually on the Princeton University campus, the Summer Institute is an intensive 7-week program that includes leadership training, writing instruction, standardized test preparation, and college guidance. Carchi's goal is to achieve his undergraduate degree in Latin American Studies at Princeton, then attend either law or medical school. The senior found out about LEADA from class of 2014 graduate Nebs Daniel, who attended the program last summer. So, on behalf of the board, I get to read Louis and present you with the certificate. Louis Carchi, Columbia Heights High School, is recognized for being selected to participate in the Princeton University Leadership Enterprise for a Diverse America program. Thank you for representing the Columbia Heights School District. We're all very proud of you.
Why don't you ask him before he gets on camera?
And this one?
Yep.
Thank you very much for honoring me. It's a really nice honor to have here. I'd like to thank everybody here and my teachers, Mr. Robleski, and the whole Columbia Heights staff who have helped me to achieve such a goal. I don't think it would have been possible for me anywhere else but at Columbia Heights. The opportunity was handed to me by another graduate from Columbia Heights, so it's kind of like a whole stream of like opportunities floating from Columbia Heights, and I am continuing to work hard and to put Columbia Heights on the map, previously stated by Nebs. So I'm working hard to achieve my goals. Thank you.
Thank you. What a wonderful representative for our student body we have here tonight.
one quick comment. I hope that Luis recognizes that the opportunity was given to him, but he's the one that's taken it and done so much with it, and that's what's making you as successful as you are. So please take some of the credit yourself as well. It's nice that, you give the people around you that credit, but had you not done anything with it, then you wouldn't be sitting here with us tonight. So very proud of you.
Louis, I couldn't be more proud of you. You've done such excellent work, and you are such a glowing student coming out of Columbia Heights. I did speak briefly about you at the last meeting, and if you get an opportunity, take some time, and I'm sure the board members would love to hear some of the things that you told me the other night, and some of the things that you've accomplished and things you've learned, and where you want to go, because some of that was really heartwarming and tender. So I really appreciate you, not only as a student here in Columbia Heights, but I am honored to know you as a person.
Again, congratulations. I agree with Member Larkin. I think you've earned it. So congratulations again. All right. With that, hard to move on from that, but we must. Next on our agenda is the agenda approval, adjustments, announcements, and correspondence. Do I have a motion for agenda approval?
I'll move that forward.
Second.
Motion by Missy, second by Lori. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Announcements, November 3rd, Monday, no school is a grading day. November 4th, Tuesday is election day. November 13th, Thursday, is a special called meeting to canvass the votes here in the community room. November 18th, Tuesday, 5 p.m. is a school board listening session, family center. November 18th, Tuesday, 6 p.m. school board work session here in the community room. November 18th, Tuesday, 7 p.m. is a regular school board meeting here in the community room. November 25th, Tuesday, 7 p.m. is a regular school board meeting here in the community room. Superintendent Kelly, any correspondence this evening?
Mr. Chair, members, there's none at this time.
Very good, thank you. We'll move on to communication to the board. At this time, any citizen or employee may briefly address the school board. The board will listen to brief remarks, ask clarifying questions, and if desired, request that the administration follow up. The board will not, however, take action at this meeting on requests presented at this time. Is there anyone who would like to come before the board this evening? Anyone who would like to come before the board? All right. Seeing that there's none, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is the consent agenda, consisting this evening of the personnel report. Do I have a motion to move forward the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by John, second by Missy. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion is carried. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is acknowledgement of contributions. I have a resolution that I'll do my best to quickly read here. Whereas Minnesota Statute 123B02 permits school boards to receive for the benefit of the district bequests, donations, or gift for any proper purpose, and apply the same to the purpose designated. In that behalf, the board may act as trustee of any trust created for the benefit of the district and for the benefit of pupils thereof. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Columbia Heights Public Schools, Independent School District Number 13, that the school board accepts with appreciation the contributions detailed in the background in the amount of $3,194.90. Monetary donation, $100 Target gift card was made to Highland Elementary by Janet Filter for classroom supplies. A donation of $20 was made to Columbia Heights Public Schools by the Ted Landwehr for district expenses. A donation of $1,688.52 was made to Valley View Elementary by Target Take Charge Education for student needs. A donation of $747.06 was made to Columbia Academy by Target Take Charge Education for student needs, value in kind. Donation of a bike to Valley View Elementary from Peg Nelson, estimated value $100. Donation of books and classroom supplies to Columbia Heights Public Schools from Beth Salmon, estimated value $349.32. Donation of dye kits to Highland Elementary from an anonymous donor, estimated value of $100. Donation of school supplies to Highland Elementary from Falden American Legion, estimated value $100. Donation of socks to Valley View Elementary from Marge Ubel, estimated value $10. Total fiscal year 2014-2015 monetary contributions to date, $14,081.86. Nice, very nice. Do I have a motion to move that forward?
I'll move that forward.
Second.
Motion by Laura, second by Ted. Any discussion? All right, would you call the roll, please?
Meyer.
Aye.
Landberg.
Aye.
Larkin.
Aye.
Bardell.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Lee, aye.
Thank you very much. That resolution has passed. All right, at this time, we'll move on to discussion reports and information items. At this time, board members can report on board activities since the last regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Education. And this evening, we'll start with Lori.
I was at the candidate forum, which was really nice to see, and nice to see some of the public come out and some of the questions that were asked. And then I was at the listening session last week, and the work session.
All right, thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Yeah, Ted.
I was at the school board candidate forum as well. It was, again, great to hear the candidates again and find out where they stand. I don't know, I heard that wasn't televised though, so I don't know if that's ever been televised, but I've had some constituents ask about that, so. Attended the alumni dinner. That was always a great event. I think it's the largest dinner that we've had. It seemed like it. And thanks to John and the committee for working so hard on it. And we had a lot of donations as well. So it was just overall the support just seems to be getting stronger and stronger. And a wonderful cause to help our students with their scholarships. And then I attended the work session last week and also went to a Chamber of Commerce event, talked to some business owners about education and developing workforce, which is a big topic. You know, the workforce is really lacking with qualified candidates, so the need is greater than ever, it seems like, for that. And then also talked to some constituents at the Lions Club meeting. Thank you.
Thanks. John?
I also attended the candidate forum. I was at the work session last week. I also was at the Alumni Foundation dinner, and it was actually, I think, 104 people this year, so it is the largest group that they'd served, and everybody was extremely generous. It was, I don't have the final, haven't heard the final tally on it, but I know that it was a good night. It was certainly nice to see people, and then I had the opportunity on Saturday to go watch the Highlander football team play, and they had a great game, and I think it's Friday at St. Croix Lutheran. I would strongly suggest long underwear if you're going to go to the game, but it should be fun, so that's it.
All right, thanks, John. Laura?
Well, I was also at the candidates forum, and it was a nice event. I really appreciate the 710 Union for putting that event on. I don't think we ate all the cookies, though, so that was a shame. I should have stuck around for that. I also attended the work study session, and I actually forgot the last meeting to report out that I'd also attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting where Director Burkus was presenting to the local businesses various statuses of the district with regards to the levy and so on, and answered their questions. He did a wonderful job of getting that information out. I also had several communications with constituents, and I also attended the alumni dinner. That was really, really incredibly nice event. There are so many wonderfully generous people that participated in that, and it was really nice to see people I hadn't seen in a while and that are very involved in the school district and very invested in the kids and supporting their educational ambitions. And I think that's pretty much it.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you, Laura. Hi, Miss.
I also attended the candidate forum. Thank you to each of them for attending and giving us their views on the district. Also, prior to our work session, we did have a listening session, and I just wanted to bring that forward again, that we do have another one coming up, and I think it's really important that the community understand that we are doing this, that there are 2 board members plus administration that will be meeting with you prior to a work session, and that we will hopefully continue this as the year goes on, but it is It is something that we're trying to do, and we've tried in the past and will continue to try. We didn't have anybody come, but Lori was kind enough to bring cookies, so that was nice. And then I was at the work session. I also attended the alumni dinner, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that put that on. What a really wonderful event. John, you worked really hard. I saw you running like crazy. And the silent auction and everything that was donated, and you know, this is all due to kids. John Alt, congratulations on an alumni of distinction. But this is all about kids, and you know what's really interesting, it's not just about the community that was sitting there, it was the community that has now moved out of the community and still comes back and celebrates with us and celebrates students and alumni. And the choir was amazing. They did a wonderful job. Congratulations to them. It was a heartfelt evening and a nice, just a very nice dinner at Jack's. If you've never attended, take some time and do that. It's well worth the donation. I also attended 2 state association meetings, state board meetings, one for All-State School Board and also for the legislative resolutions that will be coming forward. And I've talked to Bill. I'm gonna get him all of those. We've got some interesting resolutions from all over coming forward as a new platforms on education. So I look forward to working with Bill and the rest of the state board on those coming up to refine them a little bit better. So, and I think that's enough.
All right, thank you. I also was at the work session, and I also enjoyed being at the alumni dinner at Jack's. John, thank you. Great event, and acknowledging you were working very hard, so thanks. I also attended 2 information forums about the levies put on by people at the schools. And what else? I think that's certainly all I can remember, so.
Can I add something real quick? Certainly. As much as I appreciate the recognition, there was a lot of people that worked really hard behind the scenes for the alumni dinner. And it would behoove me to mention that it wasn't just me. You know, there were some people that put a lot. I mean, the silent auction people, were designated with that. We had people, from within the district that were helping. So it went off well because a lot of people worked really hard. So I want them to know that they know who they are.
Yeah. I also forgot I was at the Sister Cities spaghetti dinner, and if you haven't attended to that, it's a great way to find out about our connection with Lomianki, Poland. So.
Oh, nice. All right, Superintendent Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, key members of the K-12 district leadership team began the academic return on investment process. We went over to Capitol View along with 9 other metropolitan school districts and had our first training. The program was selected while we were there, and the focus for our very first program will be the AVID program, and we intend to do at least 1 or 2 more over the course of this year, and we'll keep you posted on that. The District Management Council will actually be out on site this Thursday morning to interview the team and to look at the programs and to do an audit. They're doing an assessment of our data review, so it's pretty comprehensive, and they feel that it will take them until May to get everything done with us. So we look forward to a very rigorous process and some lively discussions about our programs. I want to reiterate everything that everybody said about the foundation dinner. I thought it was, every year I say it's hard to top, but I thought this was one of the nicest ones we've ever had. The choir, Missy is exactly right, was amazing. They did beautiful renditions of songs. And you're right, John, there were a lot of people that really planned and contributed and supported the fundraising, so thanks to all of them. And a special thanks really to Vern Hoyam and Dan Robleski for being the MCs, because you made it look easy, and I know it's not. So thank you for that. We completed, as Chair Bardell said, we completed our last community forum on the levy at Heights Church last night, and I want to thank Pastor Dan and his church for sponsoring the event. And I also was at the candidate forums and the school board listening session, and the cookies were great. Come on in, we'll share if you want to come to more listening sessions. And then I was at the school board work session, study session. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on our agenda this evening is Association of School Business Officials International, ASBO Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. The board will be presented with information on the ASBO Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Award received by our Finance Department, the esteemed Mr. Bill Holmgren, our Director of Finance and Operations.
Chairman Bardell, members of the school board, Superintendent Kathy Kelly. Yes, I am very pleased to let you know that we did receive the COE award again, which is our Certificate of Excellence in Reporting. I just think like I said, this was the 7th year that we've got this running. And I just think it is, it's just a very good example of the commitment that we have to be very transparent and to be able to present and report our financial position or reports in a way that our community can trust what we're doing. So we did get a nice plaque. We'll put up on the wall upstairs again. We'll have to get a bigger wall. We have to keep getting them. So that's very great news. ASBO is a organization that's been around since 1910. And they've had a commitment towards excellence for all these years. It's not just the U.S. They are worldwide, this organization, over 5,000 members, which we are a member of. I guess I don't know what else to add. It's just I'm very pleased that we did receive it again. And we will, of course, be applying again as soon as we're done with our audit here in a couple weeks.
All right.
Well, I have something to add in that I really, really appreciate once again getting this award, and I want to thank Director Holmgren and his entire team, because I think Columbia Heights is one of probably 13 school districts across the state that.
It has grown a little bit. I think we're up to 21.
Okay, and when you think of there's over 400 of the school districts out there, it's a very small amount of school districts that really apply and then receive the award. And I want to reiterate, it does make it more transparent, and it is more minute in the detail, and I'm sure that when the auditors get done with the audit, because we're going through that right now, they'll be commenting on that as well. So thank you, Bill, and thank you to your entire department.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next on our agenda this evening, the board will be presented with an update on Blooming Heights. Our presenters this evening, Kristen Stunkel, Director of Community Education, and Bonnie Lohman, our Garden Specialist. Welcome.
Good evening, Chair Bardell, members of the school board, Superintendent Kathy Kelly. Bonnie Lohman, Garden Specialist, and I are here and to present to you an update of how things are going with Blooming Heights. We were here in March, which is a time when we anticipate the gardening season, and now we're at the harvest time. And so we wanted to share with you some of the exciting developments that have been happening in Blooming Heights with our engagement with students and also how we are working closely with teachers.
All right.
And
does it need to be plugged in here? Oh, is that maybe what we're missing? Okay.
sorry, looks like our computer just got detached. There we go. So naturally, Blooming Heights, as part of our district, follows with creating worlds of opportunities for every learner in partnership with supportive small-town communities by challenging all to discover their talents, unleash their potential, and develop tools for lifelong success. Certainly all of those are embodied in the garden. We have a number of core values, all of our core values we like to think we are engaged with, but particularly the building of community and collaboration that takes place in the garden. And I like to think that our district is exceptional in its innovative approach to doing hands-on education through Blooming Heights. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Bonnie to give us the background of what she did last year, what's happening this year, and then we'll take any questions. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. I really love to talk about what's happening in the garden, and so I appreciate being able to give you an update tonight. So I what I'll do tonight is give you some of the highlights of the last school year, some of the main things that stood out in garden programming, and then give you an idea of some of the things that we have going on and are working on for this school year. So to start, I was reflecting on the last year and looking through all the things that have happened, and I think one of the biggest things that stood out to me was just the number of students who came out to the garden last school year. So we had over 1,800 students visit the garden, either visit the garden or I went into their classes and did some sort of garden lesson in their class. And so that 1,800 students represents all grades, early childhood, pre-K, all the way up through 12th grade, and it includes every school in the district. So we had every school, every grade coming out there at some point during the school year. And the thing that I think is really interesting about this is it's not just one subject or one class that's coming out. There's all sorts of classes that come out to do work and to engage in the garden. So we had science, art, technology ed, FACS, AVID, work program, special ed, a huge diversity and array of classes using the garden. It's a really busy place with tons of stuff happening for sure. And lots of teachers and students are really, really engaged in the garden. So that's really great. Another one of the highlights of this school year was that we hosted 2 family events in the garden. The first one was a pre-K family night, and that happened in the fall. And this was a really great event where we had pre-K students, their siblings, and parents come out, and we had over 100 people in the garden at one time that night. They were doing a scavenger hunt and picking carrots and eating tomatoes and running around like crazy and just having a great time. So it was a really great way to be able to connect the pre-K families to the school garden. Sometimes that isn't as easy to do, to get the families out there, so that was a great way to connect them. And then in the spring, we had an ECSC family day in the garden, and that was an opportunity for, at that event we had about 30 people, and that was an opportunity for those students to play in the garden, experience the garden, and the parents were given the opportunity to learn about some ways that they can take garden programming home and simple activities that they can do with their kids. So those were 2 pretty successful events that we had last year. Oh yeah, and then we had a couple of really, really great additions to the garden. So these first 2, it's a trellis and a compost bin. These were designed and built by the high school technology ed students. They were responsible for every single part of the design, and the thing that I really love about these is it's 2 really simple things, a trellis and a compost bin, but they did some incredibly innovative things to make them pretty unique and to be super, super functional for our school garden. During the summer, there was people from the community who came on a number of occasions and were snapping pictures of the trellis and wanting to know where we got it and how they could get one for themselves. So people were definitely noticing them, and they're things that'll be in the garden for years and years to come, designed, built, and installed by their students. And then this final picture, there's the cauliflower sign. So we had students in Adventure Club during the summertime, but during the school year we had Achieve students and seniors from the high school who are doing a community service project help to paint these garden signs. If you're out there in the summer, they label all of the different plants that we have so people can know what we have growing there. So this was a kind of cross grade level effort to get those signs made. And we'll be working on more of those, and those will be used in the garden for hopefully many years. So that was just the school highlights. There was tons of stuff that happened, and that's just like a tiny little snippet, but some of the main things. And so now I'll tell you a little bit about the summer programming highlights. Adventure Club, which is definitely the mainstay of our summer programming, and those kids are really, really involved in the garden during the summertime. One of the highlights this summer was the garden stand. We moved it out, so it was right out these windows, right in front of the family center, and the students were so proud and excited of that farm stand. They harvested everything, washed everything, bundled things up, set the prices, and would sell all of the produce. So we raised about $200, and all of that money is going to go right back into Blooming Heights to purchase seeds and other stuff. And $200 maybe seems like a small amount, but it's more than double what we made last year. And the great thing about it is the kids were just so excited about it. And another highlight of Adventure Club was we had an end of the summer open house. And this was a really great way to be able to connect Adventure Club families and parents to the garden. So towards the end of Adventure Club, we had students spent the beginning part of the week cooking some of their favorite recipes that we had made during Adventure Club in the summertime during our cooking classes. They chose their favorites, and then we had that to share with their families when they came to get picked up that day. Parents were able to get recipes from some of the different things that we had made. There was a scavenger hunt, a slideshow, and every family that came that day was able to take some produce home from the garden. What I really loved about that was that I was able to talk directly with every single parent from Adventure Club who came that day and really connect them to what we had been doing in the garden. And it was also a chance for the Adventure Club students to show off what they'd been doing, because they do so much out there. And then we have a lot of summer school classes that come out and use the garden in all sorts of different capacities. One that I thought was really a highlight from this year was the high school environmental science class came out, and they were doing a really interesting unit on different types of agricultural systems and local food. And so they came out to the garden, and we talked about the type of agriculture system that we use at Blooming Heights. And then we harvested I think there was at least 10 different fruits and vegetables that we harvested from the garden and did a big taste testing with the students. So, and talked about local food, and you definitely, I don't think, can get more local than picking the food from your school garden and eating it in your school garden. So, and the one thing that I loved about that is every single student except for one who just like really dug in his heels and didn't want to try anything, but every student had a plate of fresh fruits and vegetables that they were eating that came right from the garden, and a lot of them commented on how this is the first time I've ever eaten romaine lettuce, or this is the first time I've ever had a radish. So just a great way of kind of expanding their horizons of what food is and what we can grow in Minnesota. And then another highlight was the Columbia Heights Rec Department. They come out here on a weekly basis. And this year, this was a highlight for me this year because we really decided to focus in on what they were doing. And so we focused a lot on observation and had the students take note of the way the garden changed during the entire summer. And then we also focused on taste testing and what's available at the beginning of the summer compared to the end of the summer. We got a lot of really great feedback from the students who participated in that. So then going on to the high school, working with life skills is something that I did last year, but this year I'm doing it in a little bit more of a focused way. So we have 3 6-week sequences planned throughout the year for students to be engaged directly in the garden, and I go to their class or they come out to the garden once a week. A lot of these are associated with their science lessons, so they're little mini science units that we do that are related to plant science or other garden-related things. The 6-week session just ended, and I'm going there this week because the students had such a great time, and we did a lot of really fun stuff. So we're continuing it a little bit longer than 6 weeks, which is perfect. I love that. In the high school this year too, the botany class has been brought back, and botany is going to be really involved in Blooming Heights this year. Actually, starting tomorrow, they'll be doing soil testing, testing for all sorts of different minerals and stuff in the garden beds. What I really, really love about this project in this class is the soil testing is something that needs to happen in the garden anyway, and it's information that I actually really need to have. And so they will be testing the soil and then making recommendations about what they think needs to happen. And so it's the perfect integration, I think, of the garden and their curriculum. And then in the spring, they'll be doing planting a native plant and pollinator garden on the side of the family center, using the plants that we already have in the garden that are taking over and just kind of moving them so that we have a little more space for some of the fruit bushes that we have growing there. At Columbia Academy, I'm working really closely with Achieve this year. I will be doing weekly and have been doing weekly garden classes, and those are going to run throughout the entire year. And the focus with the Achieve students is it's a way to get them really connected to school. And so we're focusing a lot on teamwork and in cooperation with those students. Also talking about healthy eating. In the winter, they'll be doing some composting and other projects in their class. And another focus with Achieve is working on projects with them that have a long-term impact on the entire garden program so that they can really be contributing to the garden in a meaningful way. And so far, the students have been doing just great with this. They've been having a really great time. At the elementary level, North Park has a new courtyard garden. If you haven't been there, you should go and check it out. So the thing with the North Park Garden is it was designed by the 3rd grade class last year, doing a really, really just incredible PBL project that they had. The 3rd graders worked really, really hard on this. We were able to secure funding through Minnesota Egg in the Classroom and the Jeffers Foundation, who have both been really great partners. And the garden really took off during the summertime. We had North Park families volunteer to come in during the summertime and help to plant things and help to weed and get the garden going. And then during the first week of school this year, we had 100% of the students and teachers at North Park going out to that school garden and checking it out and learning in it. And we had 100% of the students harvest something from their school garden and get to taste it. So that was really great. And there's some pictures, because pictures are, they tell so much more than I ever could. So that top one is what the courtyard looked like last spring. The bottom picture on the right is kind of in the midsummer. I don't have a more updated picture that shows those beds just completely overflowing with different fruits and vegetables. And then the 3rd graders this year will be expanding on that project, continuing it and adding more to the courtyard.
And we'll fly through a few more. We just want to show how we help to facilitate the teachers in coming into the garden, and then the lesson plans.
Yeah. So at the elementary level, working on developing curriculum. This is something that'll happen in middle school and high school as well, but it's a way to kind of streamline and make it really easy for teachers to get their students out to the garden. So we have one-time visits and a sequence of events and different themes that teachers can choose from based on what they're doing in their class and what is going to work for their students. So in order for them to be able to come out here, they get a pre-visit survey, and in that survey they're able to, it's all online, and so they're able to select what theme they would like, how much time they want to come out to the garden, give me feedback about what they are doing in their class and what they want to be doing, so that the garden programming can be integrated more into their class. And it's a really easy tool for them to be able to, for us to be able to collaborate back and forth. I think, oh, and so then before they come out, with that curriculum that I'm developing, send each teacher a lesson plan, and this is just a sample of what one of the lesson plans would look like. And this gives teachers information to prep their students, and also so that they know exactly what's going to be happening. And it's a really great way for them to look at the lesson and say, no, that's not going to work too well. Can we change it this way, so that it can really be tailored to what their class needs? And then it also gives some ideas for extension that they could do when they get back into their class. And then after that, every teacher is given a post survey where they can reflect on what worked and what didn't work and offer suggestions for their next visit, and also plan their next visit if they would like. And so that's just a little snapshot of what we have got going on in Blooming Heights this year. And I would welcome any questions or comments that you have.
Yeah.
I just have, actually just have a comment. I remember being out there when it was just opening up and introducing this to the community and the district and everything. It's amazing how much programming has gone beyond expectations, you know. I mean, I know that there were some, it's like, we're going to be able to do this, that, and the other thing, but it's amazing just to see it just a couple short years into this project at how it's just taking off. Are any look at somewhat of an expansion of the area?
Well, so this is our 5th growing season, and the partnership with North Park is the expansion that we're focused on right now, and then also sharing with the whole state of Minnesota through the Minnesota School Garden Coalition that we are members of, and participating with the annual conference. So we're really trying to now share with the rest of the state the great work that's happening here in Columbia Heights. Thank you.
Comments? Yeah.
I just think it's great. When we were remodeling back in the 90s, we were worried about our campus not being too urban. I think we're going in the opposite direction. Looks like we're getting more rural. But it's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I enjoyed the presentation very much, and I would add innovation to this because when I was growing up, I did all the work in the garden. So it sounds like you get to have a party and then invite everyone to come, and they do all the work. So congratulations with that creative business model. No, I'm just kidding. It's all great, and thanks for sharing with us tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, and thanks for the support
You
of
bet.
the board and the superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda this evening is the building vision cards. The high school up this evening, and the board will be presented with information on the vision card for Columbia Heights High School. And this evening, we have Dwayne Burkus, our Director of Teaching and Learning, Dan Robleski, our high school principal, and Acting Assistant Principal Laura McClune.
Chair Bardell, Superintendent Kelly, members of the board, very pleased to be here with the high school tonight. They've had a big start to the school year. In our first day back in the big or I guess it was the third day back, the big celebration in our PAC. It started off with Program of the Year being AVID, which is mostly at the high school, recognizing the great things that have happened there. The Superintendent's Award given to Matt Townsend, the tech ed and football coach from the high school. And the school salute to the one school chosen to be recognized for their good work in the 2013-14 school year, the high school. So all of that done before even we had news of their being selected as a celebration eligible school, which really was, I think, the recognition that came from the state, which is even, of course, more of an honor in terms of saying the achievement, the good things happening there are being recognized. And was there at the high school at one point when they were, Principal Robleski was explaining that to them. And the good question always that comes when something like this happens, I've seen it in Valley View, for example. The question was, so we did a lot of things. What do you think it was that made the big difference? And I have to agree with Principal Robleski's answer, which is I think a lot of good things go into a school doing well, but one of the biggest things, I believe, is teamwork. And you have to get people to believe in each other, to work as a team. That takes great leadership, and when that happens, you see things start to move. And so it's been fun to watch that process at the high school. As you know, that's not always been the case there. And so to see the good work and the tangible results of that, not just in test scores, but in behavior, in the morale of the teachers and the spirit of the students has been great. So I'm going to, again, be quiet and hand that over to them, but I'd just like to congratulate Principal Robleski and his team. If I may, they have done a great job.
Thank you, Director Burkus. Board Chair Bardell, members of the school board, Superintendent Kelly. Tonight, I want to tell our story, and I don't want to be the only one telling our story because I think sometimes I might miss something, so I've asked Interim Assistant Principal Ms. McClune to come in and help tell our story of our strategic plan, but more importantly, what really transpired last year and what really has shaped us to where we're going to go in the future. So right now I'd like to introduce Ms. McClune.
Thank you. Board Chair Bardell, members of the board, Superintendent Kelly, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. We want to start our presentation by again acknowledging the mission of our school district. Thank you, Board Chair Bardell, for reading it earlier. We believe that through all of the work that we've done in collaboration with our teaching staff and students in the last year, we really have created worlds of opportunity for our students, and we're very excited as we continue to progress down this path. Again, our core values, we really embraced collaboration in the last year. I think that there was a lot of work that was done between the teaching leadership team, the administrative team, and the entire school building to really create a school of open communication, and we really worked to develop a sense of trust between all staff in the building, which led to an improved overall school climate among the staff that then trickled down into our students. And so along with collaboration, respect, and innovation were really key factors to the success that we achieved through our MCA scores this year. So as far as the strategic plan that we're presenting tonight, it's based on last school year, and we wanted to start out by just acknowledging our enrollment. Year to date, at the end of September, last school year, we were at 814 students, and this year we are excited to report that we were at 874 students, and we're still holding strong with that slight increase in our enrollment. So we're planning to continue to do work to recruit new students and maintain that. Again, this is a breakdown of our student body by ethnicity, and then with our English language learning population, special education, and free and reduced price lunch. I want to point out that we were at 75.3%, and last year was our first year as a Title I school. We also saw a slight increase in our graduation rate in the 2014 school year, and are continuing to work with the presence of an academic dean this school year to ensure that we are systematically supporting our seniors in their completion of the high school graduation requirements and preparation for college and careers through their college application process.
At the high school, we have a motive that sometimes scares some people, some of our staff, some of our students, and it's okay to admit where you're at. It's not okay to stay there. And as we look at the two areas of focus tonight in strategic plan A and B, it fits right into expanding the excess of the opportunities by turbocharging what works and redesigning what needs to be better. And also number B, innovating to close the achievement gap with accountability and efficiency. And I think part of that, when you have success, is we're excited to share this with you tonight. Some of our students and some of our staff are going, okay, what's next? Because we know we're not going to stay where we're at, that we're going to continue to succeed. So our first scorecard area that we are going to focus, you can see this yourself. We've decided to highlight one of the categories in each one of the areas of the three scorecards for A and B. And our first area that we are excited about is the use of formative assessment for student learning data and differentiation instruction. What we have done working collaboration with Teaching and Learning, Director Burkus and his team, is we're rolling out a 2-year plan with Moodle with our high school staff. This vertically aligns us with the University of Minnesota, and it aligns with our college and career readiness program that we have adopted, that the school board have adopted. And we're really excited the work that our teachers have started to do and will continue to do over the next 2 years. We've also seen the use of mastery quizzes, which really helps our students in our math programs attain the mastery of the skills that they need. This has been a very exciting program that we've used through PLCs, and now our science department at the high school is embedding mastery quizzes as well. Under support, we've highlighted 2 areas. One that you've heard a little bit about. We, last year, through our reset committee, had designed a customized PBIS program. Our real expectations, I know some of you have rubber bands or wristbands that we've created, but this program has focused on the positive things going on at the high school rather than the negative. And you can see through that we're at a level 5 with that. Also, you have heard about AVID. We are proud to, again, promote 7 sections at our high school. 100% college acceptance of students who are involved in AVID, 2 of our elementary schools adopting AVID, which helps us vertically align with the high school, and the leadership team at the high school through AVID has grown this program. We're very excited about that as well. And our last one is under activities and athletics. We've seen this year a 6% increase in participation. Under program strategic card B, this goes under our motto again. You can see where we're at with our MCAs. As we did have gains, again, it's okay to admit where you're at. It's not okay to stay there. We will talk about our celebrations that we have, but to underline the fact that we know we have a lot more work to do. And not only does our staff, our administrative team, our students are embracing the opportunity to be successful. Again, I'm not going to steal the celebration on this card either, but we will talk about our out-of-class referrals, our behaviors and real expectations, and our out-of-school suspensions we'll celebrate later on in the presentation. And again, AVID. I think there's kind of resonating out with AVID, AVID, AVID. I'm excited, as Superintendent Kelly reported out, the return of an investment program that we'll be doing to see the positive results that we are hoping for, that the assessment of AVID has produced for us, and the return on investment that we will get from that.
So we have worked closely with Director Burkus and the team in teaching and learning to establish our goals for this school year. We are looking at a 10% increase in math proficiency as well as in reading. In the math department, we've worked really closely with that team who operates in a professional learning community, so they are consistently looking at student data and developing new interventions to address student needs. And so out of that came the mastery quizzes that Principal Robleski mentioned, which is a really fantastic model that encourages our students to kind of stay in one portion of the content until they've really mastered it so that they can move on, which promotes greater success and aligns with our district-wide college and career pathway and the benchmark of taking 4 full years of math courses in order to be college and career ready. We also have worked closely with them to identify the needs based on strand data through the MCA scores, which allowed us last year to do intervention groups with specific groups of students where we were able to provide incentives and really make it clear to our students what their target growths were on the MCAs so that it made it approachable and understandable to them. They understood what the scores meant and they understood what that meant for them in their future. And so we had really great gains with our students in reaching their target growths within the proficiency standards. Again, in reading, our goal is a 10% increase in our proficiency. We've also worked closely with the English department and a multidisciplinary professional learning community and testing task force where we are working to identify new and innovative ways to be embedding literacy into all of our classes across the school. As far as the achievement gap goes, we are hoping to decrease the achievement gap by 5% within each subgroup, and so we're working closely with the equity team in the high school as well as our testing task force and really working to align all of the subgroups and committees that we have within our building so that we do have a unified focus and that we are supporting our students in a holistic manner. We are also working really closely with our family engagement committee and our liaison to ensure that we are addressing the needs of all students from varied backgrounds, including the language translation piece, so that we are communicating out with families in the community in a way that's approachable to them. We are also looking to continue to increase our graduation rate. We were excited about the gain that we had last year, but we know that we always want to continue to move forward. And we are very grateful to the board and to Superintendent Kelly for the addition of the academic dean this school year. It has been incredibly valuable for our students. Ms. Sprouse is working solely with our 12th grade students, and she, in collaboration with myself and Principal Robleski, we've created a tiered model to really addressing our seniors and ensuring that students who are at risk or credit deficient are receiving all of the supports that they need, but then all of the supports that they need, but then also our high achieving students like Mr. Louis Carchi, who is here this evening, has the support that he needs as he's applying to Princeton and all of our other students in between. So we're very, very excited about that this school year. And again, we have a number of college and career readiness programs, AVID, Genesis Works, College Possible, a lot of great offerings that we have at the high school for our students.
One of the successes that we feel to the high school is the reset committee. It was our leadership team that was put together a year ago in the summertime. And the collaboration amongst the teacher leadership and the administrative team came up with a 3-year plan and has, as you can see, developed a comprehensive plan that we have really embraced and have been consistent and followed through with. One thing that, again, thank you Superintendent Kelly, Director Burkus, we feel one of the strongholds of this program is the time after our first year of implementing. After the school year was over, we were able to meet with the committee, so grades were done, seniors were graduated. We had an opportunity to process. We had an opportunity to talk about what went right, areas of growth, and what programs and what were our goals going to be implemented for this year. And we're going to take it a step further next year as we do that in June. We are going to take it, a lot of planning has been done that will be done over the summer. We will meet again in August with this team and make sure that our goals are ready and streamlined so we're ready for the school year to start it on day one. And this committee, again, I think Director Burkus brought up the word, we have 2 T's that we like, trust and teamwork. And I think with the collaboration that we've had and transparency, so 3 T's, we've really worked together and formed this committee of trust, transparency, and the communication. It's awesome, and I think the teachers will tell you that it's embraced and it's taking us to the levels where we want to go. So now this is the fun part. In the school year on the MMR score, we had our work session and we were trying to figure, our Director Burkus was explaining the MMR score and its values that it has. In 2013, our school received a 26.42%. Last year, we hit 69.44%, which made us celebration eligible. What does that mean exactly? Who's our competition? Of the schools, we are one of 217 schools. That's elementary, middle school, junior high, and high school. One of 217 in the state eligible. One of 20 high schools in the state. This includes charter and private schools as charter. Just
Title I schools.
Thank you. And we are one of 5 high schools in the metro area. We are very, very proud of this group that we're in, and we are in the process of completing our application, which is due at the end of the week, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for the opportunity to be a celebration school. And as you can see, as we've talked earlier, our AVID program, the college and career readiness, the career pathways to get there, we're excited that our district has embraced this and that E12 is participating in college and career readiness. As you can see up there, we have a number of programs that help support our kids. Again, our collaboration with Ramp Up to Readiness with the University of Minnesota. Look at the local scholarships, $277,500. I don't know if there's another district that has that kind of money given out to their students. And I also want to talk about the Strive program and the success we've had with that in 1 year. It's very successful. We're excited. We've also created the college planning checklist that we received, I believe, at one of our work sessions. It just helps us on that path of success. This is one of my favorite pictures coming out of our fine arts program. Last year, we had 2 Gold Key Award winners and I believe 7 Silver Key Award winners that were presented here as a Heights Lights. And we had through our theater program 12 Spotlight Awards last year. Our current strengths, as you heard about, is our customized PBIS program with Real Expectations, our Highlander Nation program, and our Academic Awards Incentive Program. As we reward our students, our continued success in the classroom, as we'll see it next. Last year, a 58% drop in out-of-school suspensions, a 16% drop in out-of-classroom referrals, and a 17% drop in student failures, and a 9% increase in enrollment. This is in 1 year. For our future, we continue to look for our MCA scores to improve, as we talked about. Assistant Principal McLuhan talked about our testing task force, which we believe the collaboration of solving problems and integrating instructional strategies into all classrooms, working together as a team, we will be successful. We will continue our efforts as an administrative team in recruiting students in our district to our school, and we are excited about the adoption of the early college program through Anoka Ramsey, and continuing to work with our academic dean in 9-12 with college and career readiness.
And I just wanted to add that photo there is from one of our college prep nights last year. We had 2 and we have another one coming up on November 6th, so you're all invited. It's a great opportunity where we have a large number of college representatives coming in, and students and families have the opportunity to interact with them in our building, answer questions, and then we have breakout sessions led by our deans. So it's a really great time. I hope that you're able to make it. We also have had College Knowledge Month is happening this month in October, and so this week we've had College Application Week, and yesterday and today we've had all of our seniors into the Media Center meeting with college representatives, and our goal was to have every student apply to at least one college, so we're hoping to get more information back on that, but we've had a lot of great progress this week. I just love this picture, so we wanted to share it. I think as we have really focused on our school climate, it's allowed us to celebrate the positive things that are happening. We've really been able to shift our focus from some of the negative things in our building to the academic achievements that our students are making, to the fine arts achievements, the athletic achievements, and you can feel it in the hallways. Our building is resonating this pride, and students are proud to be Highlanders. You can feel it, you can see it, and it's been really fantastic. This is my 5th year in the building, and to see this transformation has just been really an honor for me to be able to watch it and to be a part of what our students have accomplished. Principal Robleski and I worked with Director Mahan to create a promotional video for the high school, so just in closing tonight, we'd like to share that with you. As long as it can load quickly. My apologies. There, I just needed to escape out of it. Pretty good. All right, Mike. I don't know if it's on its way.
Let's try it from this drive. I need to minimize that and then just run it off of that.
No matter who you are, where you come from, be it through academics or extracurriculars, like we have so many things offered here.
Here at Columbia Heights High School, we are committed to college and career readiness. Through dedication and hard work, our staff is committed to student success.
I was a part of College Possible. I've taken AP classes, but I think one of the bigger things that will come of note is that I learned about Genesis Works through Columbia Heights. It's a program that taught me who I am, what I was capable of, and what kind of person I can be.
I take a lot of AP classes and they're challenging and they prepare you for college.
Taking these AP classes in Avid makes you well prepared for whatever they're going to throw at you.
We are very passionate about preparing our students for college and careers, and so we currently have a partnership with the University of Minnesota called Ramp Up to Readiness, and it's a curriculum that we implement in our advisories, so students meet roughly once a week with an advisor in a small group setting where they focus on steps that they need to take to be ready for their futures.
Those groups, you have to do alpha. You find alpha first.
I truly believe that our teachers have the passion for all our kids.
And they will go the extra mile to stay after school with you.
They've been there for me every step of the way, from freshman year all the way to this final year here. They've always been there just helping me achieve everything I possibly could.
They go above and beyond for everything you need, going after school, practice, like study questions and stuff.
We have programs for everyone.
Everything from jazz band to football to soccer for middle school and high school students. Our musicals and one-act plays are phenomenal.
The theater program is amazing. Because they don't offer just one thing, there's something for everybody.
In athletic, we have clubs for you. We have speech team, we have knowledge bowl, we have science bowl, you have more like academics clubs, and then you have more athletic.
We're so proud of our diversity, you know. There's a welcoming environment, you know. Everyone is welcome no matter what you are, no matter how you are.
You don't feel excluded because there's going to be someone in your school who's going to be there for you.
You can walk straight down the hallway, you'll see someone from over 20 different countries in just this high school alone, just one hallway.
I think it lets people see where everybody comes from different walks of life.
I love it here at Columbia Heights, and all of Columbia Heights is a family.
I would say, like, if you come here, we'll embrace you no matter what.
I'm proud to be a Highlander. Are you ready to be one?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm ready to be one. Oh, outstanding, yeah. Questions, comments?
Thank you. Just that's amazing. Just in the short period of time, you're right. Teamwork is definitely the foundation of getting it all done. So I can see that the input that you're having and the collaboration is just look at how much progress can be made. So thank you, and I have students going to come up through the schools, and I thank you for them as well. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I just want to say with the MMR, and you talked about this during the work session, it measures more than just proficiency. It measures growth, closing the achievement gap. So in so many ways, you've improved other than proficiency as a high school. So that really shows. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have done a great job, and it's proof in numbers, it's proof in spirit, and you know, and just sitting down and calculating, I think the community really needs to understand that we have an increase in kids wanting to come back to Columbia Heights, and that's something that's very major. We talk about parent engagement, and that's great and everything, but where it really comes from is you guys engage kids, and when you engage kids, it resonates to parents, and you're bringing it full circle. And so I thank you for that, and I thank you for the ability to walk around the state and be proud of you guys. So thank you very much for everything that you guys have done, and your staff, and mostly to those kids.
Yep. I would just like to say, outstanding year. Thank you. Appreciate your leadership and your passion for helping kids. We appreciate it.
I also want to comment that you mentioned about recruiting students. I know that other schools are trying to recruit our students. So I love that video, and I love making the high school attractive, and that's something that I think we always have to be mindful and working on. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, next on our agenda this evening, the board will be presented with information on a Spanish field trip. Dwayne Burkus.
Chair Bardell, Superintendent Kelly, members of the board. Pleased to be here again with our Spanish and EL teacher from Columbia Academy, Marie Nelson. We are going to talk a little bit about a proposal to repeat the field trip that you probably remember we talked to you about last year. And I think in the spirit of, and maybe I'll just ask Marie to, whoops, we have to reconnect there. Right.
There we go.
Click to the next one. Yeah, thanks. And really, you know, I think when I think of a teacher like Marie, it's about providing worlds of opportunities to our kids, and her energy, her desire to give all kids the chance to participate in the kinds of activities that she saw work so well last year is, I think it's an honor really to have teachers come back and say, sign me up, I want to do it again. And so I think in the next slide again, we talk a little bit about all of those core values, and I think it's not just in school that we're trying to instill those in our kids, but it's also in that time beyond school. It's on weekends where teachers go above and beyond as well to develop these skills with our students. So I'm going to ask Marie to talk a little bit again about the program and why we would love to have your approval to go again. But I'll let her talk more about it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, School Board Chair Bardell and Superintendent Kelly for having me. Last year, I was very excited to take a group of 27 eighth graders to Concordia Language Villages in Bemidji, Minnesota. And this group of students was able to participate in a lot of different activities at Concordia. They're immersed in Spanish, so at no point during the trip are they spoken to in English by an adult. They're completely immersed in Spanish. They're native Spanish speakers that run the camp, and they learn not only the language but the culture of a designated country where Spanish is spoken. As you can see there, last year they worked on lots of different activities, games. They cooked, they sang, they danced, and I just saw such a change in my classroom after the students came back. They were just, I've had students understand a lot of Spanish by the end of the year and speak a lot of Spanish by the end of Spanish 1, but the amount of Spanish that these students were speaking at the end of the year, I haven't seen that in all 7 of my years here in Columbia Heights. And so it was just really inspiring for me to be able to see their transformation and how they transformed the classroom and really just formed a community as well with each other. So I would love to be able to take another group again this year. Again, it's at Concordia Language Villages in Bemidji, Minnesota. And it would be available to up to 40 8th grade students taking Spanish 1 this year. And the dates are March 13th through March 17th, which is a weekend. So it's 2 nights, Friday night and Saturday night, that they spend at Concordia Language Villages. And the cost, as you can see, is $230 per student. That does include transportation. And I do have scholarship money that has been generously donated, pending approval, of course, by the Columbia Heights Athletic and Activities Boosters. So the fundraising, last year we did a lot of fundraising. We sold booster calendars. We had parents participate in meat raffles at Miller's. We did some bake sales at Columbia Academy basketball games, and a couple other things. And so in order for families to be eligible for scholarship money, they do need to commit to participating in at least 2 fundraisers, and that worked very well last year. So there's the group again. It was just a wonderful experience, and I still have kids coming back and saying, when are we going again? Sorry, I don't have you anymore. You're at the high school now, but so would just love to take another group.
And maybe I could just add at the very end that, as always, in our district, we are committed to all students being able to go. If they do the fundraising, as Maria's laid out, then we are prepared to support them to make it possible if they do not raise enough. So all kids who sign up would have an opportunity to participate. So I want to make sure you know that we'll continue to honor that commitment.
All right. Questions, comments? All right, sounds like a good thing to do, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda this evening is the board will be presented with a wrap-up of summer program activities, and we have Dwayne up again, and Nicole Halby, our Director of Student Services, and Kristen Sunkel, our Director of Community Education.
Thank you, Chair Bardell, Superintendent Kelly, members of the board. It's my pleasure to have the Director Stunkel and Director Burkus and myself to present the summer program recap of 2014. And if we could extend summer a little bit longer, we will, but it doesn't look like it with tonight. So our mission, creating worlds of opportunity in partnership with the community, challenging everybody to discover their talents, unleash their potential, and develop tools for lifelong success. This district, out of all the surrounding districts of other directors I talk to, offers the most extensive programming year-round for the students. And so we're really proud to recap working with the community for excellence and innovation to provide lots of programming for kids in the summer. Goals for summer school: provide reading and math interventions. That's our primary focus for our summer programming. Provide opportunities for high school kids to earn credit. Provide English language support for our English language learners. Provide opportunities for fitness. Provide services mandated by a student's IEP for special ed. Provide opportunities for enrichment. So we had a busy summer in 2014. We had, of course, Summer Academy joins our campus, and we have about 2,000 kids, but these programs are our programs that we do in-house with just our district. So we had extended year, grades 1 through 6, 30 students for our DCD program, for developmentally cognitively delayed, 17 students. High school special ed reading and math, 20 to 40, depending on the class. Early childhood special ed, 26. In early childhood special ed home visits, 16, where the teachers went into the home and worked with families of young children.
And in community education, we've continued with the Bridges to Kindergarten program that takes place the first 3 weeks of August to prepare the students who will be entering kindergarten. We have 3 classrooms of 25 students that's co-taught with an elementary school teacher and an early childhood teacher. We had 75 students participating in Bridges to Kindergarten. With our Adventure Club program, and Bonnie Lohman mentioned some of the activities that they did with Blooming Heights, we had 73 students participating in the Summer Adventure Club program. With our water exercise lap swim, we had 10 individuals participating with that. Mini Adventures is our 33 months to 5 years of age childcare program, which takes place here, 2 classrooms, 40 total students. That's a year-round program. And then we continue to offer some of our fitness classes of yoga, Tai Chi, and Zumba through adult enrichment during the summer of 20 students.
And of course, as Director Hollaby was saying, we do a lot of work with the remediation in math and reading. So we had about 350 students at Highland this year going through our summer program of 4 weeks. About 200 students at the high school working either on high school credit, or middle school students there also working on reading and math. We have a home reading and math program that we've had going now for close to 10 years with about 100 students that are served through home visits. And then, of course, we have credit completion and recovery for those students who need to make up a class that they didn't quite get done or the class that they had failed and needed to redo. Some new things this year that we tried as part of our Gifted and Talented Task Force, we came back with some recommendations for what we could do to support kids with AP. One of those recommendations was to run some camps, academic camps in the summer. So we ran 2 new ones this year. The AP Writing Boot Camp was a big success. We had lots of students, great feedback from those students in terms of the help that we were able to provide them with writing. We know from feedback from students who go on to college that it's one of the things that they're always surprised by is the level of writing that is expected of them right from the very start. So we're trying to give kids that were coming back this year as well as kids who are going on to college that extra boost for a week intensively for 5 days in writing. We also, at the bottom, you can see a classroom full of AP Calculus students, where students were really getting a boost in terms of being ready for a very, very rigorous course and using a week in the summer to do that. We again ran our summer engineering camp down at the middle school. That's the 2nd year in a row that we did that. So a slow but steady increase in the number of academic opportunities for our students who are not necessarily there for remediation, but also there to extend their learning. And of course, the Summer Academy program that Director Hollaby mentioned. Lots of kids from lots of districts, and that happens again the first 3 weeks after school's out, so we start with a bang, and it really doesn't slow much down much from there. It was a great year for them as well. Their numbers slightly up from the year before, very smooth operation. So looking ahead, there are some things that we are working on. We have met with our ALC to talk about possibilities for perhaps doing our high school summer school a bit differently. We'll be working on that, I'm sure, with them throughout this school year. Some regulations that come through the state that are making it probably a likelihood that we're going to have to work more closely with having courses there. We'd like to build again on the success of our summer academic camps. I think we're finding that that is a great way to give kids a boost in the summer and see opportunities for that to grow in different ways. And then finally, enrichment options for all students. As you know, we lost the 21st Century Grant. Some great things that Director Stunkel ran, like environmental camp, had to go. And so just continuing to look as a district for ways that we can engage all kids, not just in remediation, but in enrichment in the summer. So we'll continue working on those things in the months ahead and hope that next summer we can have even more things and improve on the things that we have for our students.
All right, good, yeah.
Actually, I do have a question. I recall we had a presentation on the benefits of like the Encore program and how it was reflected in higher achievement levels, you know, pretty much across the board with regards to the students that participate, you know, some or a lot or not at all, that you could see a measurable difference. Are we seeing any type of correlation, or is there any kind of statistical feedback with regards to some of these additional offerings?
I think, you know, the programs that we offer are very different from one to the other, so I think in each of them, though, I think it's a really good question. What are we seeing as a result? The feedback that we're getting from students, teachers, families is very much favorable. The measures that we can make in terms of how much academic growth or how much academic impact it's had on students has always been a little bit harder for us to measure. We do know in a general sense, since most of our kids are still here for remediation, that one of the big things is the drop that you see in the summer when kids aren't engaged in reading at home or maybe stimulated through some of the things that other kids are. So it's not always necessarily that we're going to see gains, but maybe what we're going to see is less of a drop or a maintenance of where students are. So we're still working, I guess, on trying to see bigger impact from remediation in the summer. we feel it's necessary to, at the very least, to be able to say we don't want our kids to slide backwards. There are studies, one that was fairly recent, just a couple years ago on a national scale, that came out that said probably about half of the achievement gap can be traced directly back to summer loss over the course of many years. And so we know it's important. What is hard for us, I'll have to just be, honest in the frustration we feel to a certain extent. It's not always easy, though, to measure because of the students in the remediation aspect of it, at least. We don't have the standardized tests running necessarily at the end of a summer school program. The summer school programs are short. So what we do believe, though, is that like in these national studies, that having the kids there participating in this, at the very least, is providing them with the opportunity not to lose and go backwards, which is, I think, doesn't sound like necessarily a great goal, but when you're seeing kids, lose basically 2 to 3 months of work, so close to a quarter of a school year, that is actually a pretty big deal, just to maintain. So I think we have to, again, provide maybe some context to that portion of it. When we look at things like the AP boot camp, it's a very different kind of thing. And we'll be looking forward to seeing, for example, do the AP Calc students do better this year as a result? We have to wait a little while to get that, but hopefully, we'll see.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, with our success rate our pass rate of being around 33%, I understand for AP, I'm certainly would suspect this would help get that up and have them be more successful. Is there a way to bring the parents involved in summer school and help maybe get them engaged in helping to prevent the loss through the summer as well?
Well, I think to address that, our home visiting that we've been getting trained through St. Paul, and teachers voluntarily have decided to opt into that training and program. And so that home reading program in which they're going into the homes, the teachers are going into the homes and reading with the students and modeling for the parents and leaving the books. Director Burkus started when he was the coordinator for teaching and learning for English language learners. He started the program where the superintendent will attest took over the whole upstairs floor, the district office, of leveling books and teachers coming and picking them up and taking them into the homes for EL students.
And the trunks of everybody's cars.
And the trunks of everybody's car, about 11 years ago. And that was really one of the few school districts in the state that did that program where they would bring the reading into the students. So we've expanded that through the family engagement coordinator, Jane Reardon, getting all teachers now. Coleman Nimroff was one that started with general ed kids in North Park visiting the homes in the summer. And it's a great idea. There's a lot of research behind it that it gets families more engaged and they feel comfortable because it's in their home and they're building relationships with the teachers and the teachers teaching them how to read to their kids. So.
And with our pre-K program, our pre-K teachers met with all of the parents to talk about how the parents could provide engagement for their students over the course of the summer to continue to have them to be prepared for kindergarten. We also work very closely with the Columbia Heights Recreation Department, and also the Columbia Heights Library to make sure that students and families are aware of those offerings during the summer as well.
Yeah, it sounds like with the need for life skills to how closely they're tied to college achievement, to build those skills in. During the summer you don't take it off. You still build your learning throughout the entire year. So that's great. And I just want to comment on Summer Academy. Talking about putting Columbia Heights on the map. I go around and I hear primarily school board members from different districts, and they always say, oh yeah, Columbia Heights, that's where Summer Academy is. So it's great that we're able to continue that.
How are you guys advertising the boot camp stuff, and who's it available to?
The boot camps have been...
I know, you did, last year was just the first year, right?
And it was mostly mail-outs that we did to kids that we felt like would be potential candidates for that, or kids that had perhaps either signed up, for example, for AP Calc, or if they were taking AP classes or signed up to take AP classes again this year. So it was a combination. We tried to do it mostly through mailers. So it wasn't, the AP Calc class was actually something that was developed mostly in the summer, so I don't think it was something we were able to talk about much before the school year was out, which would have helped, I believe. So this year, our plans are that we'll talk about these things, we'll be able to advertise them. We've got some great pictures of kids in there, we've got some stories, a lot of kids that were part of it that can talk about it. So we're hoping that we can do the recruiting largely this time directly to the kids before the school year is out, rather than through the mail, which is primarily the way we did it last year.
And the target is the upperclassmen, I mean, your seniors getting them ready, your juniors, or is it, I mean?
Yeah, last year it was mostly juniors and seniors, and so we did have seniors that had just graduated that we allowed to come back to do the writing because we really felt like that was a college prep thing. So I think we'd like to try to keep going with that. It's just, but we'd love to see those numbers grow. We'd like to see these camps perhaps expand to other kinds of AP classes. There seems to be just a real commitment to kids, by kids, to spending some pretty intensive class time. I mean, these aren't really fun and games kinds of camps, but allows them to not have any other homework. They can just focus in on it. So they worked well, in our opinion, this year. So.
Okay, thank you.
It was such a beautiful summer. It's just it says a lot about the kids that they were willing to commit that kind of time to what doesn't sound like probably a ton of fun and games.
Yeah.
Calculus is fairly demanding.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we got some
Good for
great
them.
kids over there. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, miss.
I just want to say thank you because, you know, with not having that one major grant, you guys still keep going and still engaging kids and giving them worlds of opportunity. So thanks for all your hard work this summer.
Thank you.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next on our agenda is the MSBA platform legislative resolution for Northeast Metro 916. I think Bill's going to come up and give us some financials, and Member Palmer will add some perspective.
Okay, good evening again.
Hi.
Board members. I looked through the information that I had from what 916 was sending to MSBA for what they want to put in the platform. And as you know, districts like 916 can't levy any money. So when they look at trying to fix buildings or build buildings, they don't have any revenue source except to go to the schools, the member school districts, and at this point, it's only been lease levy that they've been able to kind of tap into. Just to give you an example, lease levy, what we pay right now to 916 is about $72,000 on a yearly basis. And that covers what's going on, any type of build out that they've done in different buildings, and just recently the brand new building of Carner Blue. For an example, out of the $72,000, we actually pay $42,000 for Carner Blue. So you get an idea. The others are smaller pieces. But right now what they're looking at is Capitol View is also in need of repair. And they really are looking at, instead of, let's go, because they can only use lease levy for a new building, but they really want to be able to just repair Capitol View. But at this point, they can't use lease levy for Capitol View because lease levy is only for new building. So the only way they could do it is just to kind of come back to the districts and ask for money, and we'd have to give it to them out of our general fund, which really don't have any extra funds whatsoever. Okay, so right now there's a cap of $65 for this type of building in lease levy, and really the information what they like to take to MSBA and present to the legislature is to districts like themselves to be able to use up to like 65, not change the cap amount, but to be able to use that to repair buildings, not just new building lease levy. So they aren't really looking for more cap, but to be able to use lease levy for repair instead of just new building. Okay. If, just to give you an example also, if they would end up, fixing all these buildings and getting up to the cap, we would be liable for about $217,000 if they went to the full $65. So you can see it's quite a bit less than that right now. Okay, go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, some of the needs that they're having over at Capitol View include that they cannot do any repairs on the building and do modifications for the special programming over there without replacing the sprinkler system. So that is above the cap of what they can actually levy out for. In addition to that, if they were to do the repairs on the building and go directly to the member districts, they cannot put that out over a period of years. It would actually have to be all in 1 year. And no district that participates in 916 can really afford that, because you'd be looking at an additional $1 million of expenses probably for a district our size, and considerably more for some of the larger districts who have a larger contribution to 916.
And that would come out of our general fund, you're saying?
Yeah, what this is really doing is they're trying to find a way to repair buildings and be able to use lease levy to do it. So we might see a small increase to get Capitol View taken care of, but nothing like a brand new building would be.
And you mentioned, Bill, the example is if it were the maximum $217,000, would that be 1 year or over a period of years?
Well, that'd be over a period of years.
Okay.
I mean, that's the max. I'm not sure. I mean, even if they built one more building, we wouldn't be up to that cap by any means. But I'm just saying that the possibility would be there to go all the way up.
And when, so if they had the authority to do that, then it's a levy, so does that mean then that goes through us and then we can levy our?
Yeah, that's what happens. It comes back to us. Every year we'll have a resolution for the board to say, yes, we agree that we're gonna levy this amount. And like I said, right now we're at 72 for all the programming over at 916. And they have, what, 5 buildings that we're working with? Anyway, so we've agreed as a member district to levy what they need for the new building pieces.
Okay. All right. So, and again, just so I make sure I understand, so for Karner Blue, that's exactly what they did.
Yep, that's exactly what they did. They built
for the lease levy, and then, so the change in the policy would be to try to get the legislature to give them the ability to use it for repair, not only building new construction.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for authority to be able to use lease levy for repair
But they also
or remodeling.
Are they also looking to increase that amount then?
No, the $65 is the cap that's there now. So they're not looking for more, just being able to use the same levy authority to use it for repair. Which in the case of Capitol View would save us a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
So in essence, it's allowing them to use the money that they receive for not only for all their needs, all their capital needs, not just new buildings. Repair as well.
Yeah, when we look at the building facility, yeah, just like we're looking for revenue for our own district, that's what they're looking for. There's some way that they can keep their facilities up to date and in good maintenance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does, when the repair projects are put together for, hypothetically, right, for Capitol View, and we've all toured Capitol View and we understand they need lots of things, roofs and things like that. I totally understand that. Are those plans then approved by MDE first, or how?
Yeah, they have
do
to
you
go
imagine?
through a
Okay.
review and comment process, just like we do for any type of large project.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments?
I guess all I can say is I wish we had the same authority to use all the money that we have to prepare what we need. This does make sense to me. Ryan 16.
Where are we at on the, I mean, you said that they can levy up to the $65 per pupil, correct? I mean, is that is that money already been, is
No.
it sitting there?
Right now, the $65 is a cap
Right.
of lease levy.
Where are we at where's it at right now?
Well, we're about at a third of that. Okay, like around $25. Okay, we're a long ways from the cap.
But this is proposing that,
This is proposing to leave the cap where, I mean, it's already there. They're just mentioning that it's already there as a cap.
Right.
But to be able to use lease levy dollars to repair instead of just build new. Because we're in the same situation when, like, in the building we're doing right now at Valley View, we're using lease levy to build that building. But I can't buy new tables or chairs to put into those new rooms with lease levy money, because it's not a building.
right?
Okay, so same type of situation.
And we wouldn't be able to repair the roof either.
No, we cannot repair the roof.
I say
No.
that's it's the flexibility. They're looking at trying to find a way that doesn't involve basically building a brand new facility when you have a fairly nice location, a solid building to work with that just needs to meet the needs of the special ed students. I mean, there aren't even, ADA compliant bathrooms in that building. It's a special education school.
Just for a point of clarification, though, the financial risk, if there is any, is that the cap would consistently be going from the $72,000 figure to the $217,000 figure. And there's always repairs. So it's, if you have more repairs, you can go up to the cap, and that's something that I think, the cap doesn't change, but how they can use the money, so there might be more uses for the money. And that's a ramification I think you need to think through, and it's one that I'm going to have a conversation with Superintendent Hayes about myself.
Is that anything we have any control over? I mean, it's, right now, you said it's $25. I mean, if this were to go through and they could make repairs versus building new.
Well, I guess, we don't truly have control, because they're gonna bring what they bring forward. But, I mean, at the same time, I guess you wouldn't have to pass a resolution. But as a member district, I think you're kind of in it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they don't, 916 doesn't have the ability, like we are now going out for capital levy to make the repairs we need. So this is kind of their answer to that, the dilemma. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the answer to their dilemma. They cannot levy. They're not an independent school district. They don't have a community that they can levy
Yeah.
against. So that's why they go to each member district, and everybody pays their share.
But that's levied against the community, right?
But
It's
those
levied
dollars
here.
are levied against our community, our
Sure.
portion,
But they have to come through us to
Yes.
do that.
And all the other member districts.
and all the other districts.
Right.
So then,
Well, that was my question, is what prevents this from jumping to the $65? Is that something we would see and have a say in?
Well, I think there's certainly a discussion on the, the board member that we send to 916 certainly has a say in what happens and what they're asking for.
But the final vote is that board.
That board.
Mhm.
So they could show up tomorrow and say, it's not gonna cost us $217,000 versus the $72,000?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
and then that would be different for every district depending on enrollment,
There's a long formula.
participation.
It's based on how much we use it and also how many students we actually have here in our district. It's a split formula.
It's a similar issue with the WEMAP
Yep.
consortium as well, because they also don't have money now for the 2 schools, and so they're looking at where that's going to be going, and so they're looking back to member districts, and there are member districts that are saying we cannot afford to take the risk on all of that. So you have, it's a trend. Everybody's between a rock and a hard place. We really hope that we'll be able to repair our buildings as well, but it's a matter of the district, the intermediate, the WEMAP, all of the buildings are getting to be of a certain age.
Yeah. And I think, what you would see, 916 is asking for this, but if this went through, I think you would see this included with ties, and be included with WEMAP. So we'd be, push up that cap pretty fast.
And that's just information. This isn't something that we've.
No, this is just, what this is an ask for MSBA to carry this to the legislature on their platform.
From 916.
Yeah, 916 is asked MSBA to bring it forward to the legislature.
Okay.
Do you know, is this something the MSBA Delegate Assembly will address?
That's what this is about. It's about putting it
I'm
on.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is about, I'm sure it's on the list.
Yes.
So we'll have input on that as well to the Delegate Assembly.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Questions, comments?
Okay.
All right, thanks for the info.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, next on our agenda is the first reading for some board policies, 402, disability non-discrimination policy, and 806, our crisis management policy. Excuse me. These policies will appear on a future agenda for approval. Last on our agenda this evening, board topics. Are there any board topics this evening? All right, quiet group tonight. So with that, we'll adjourn at 8:47. Thank you.